Hello and welcome to Guilford Hot Topics. My name is Allie Linell and I have the pleasure of interviewing board members of the Guilford Garden Club today. And joining me today is Marge Vogt. We have Suzanne Durno and President Alicia Bacon and Barbara Nugent. And I am delighted to have you here today. I was raised with my grandmother being in the garden club, but I really don't know that much about it. And so I'm anxious to find out more about it.
Good.
And I would like to ask you, first and foremost, is it a national organization?
Yes, the Guilford Garden Club is part of Federated Garden Clubs of Connecticut, and we are also part of the National Garden Club of the United States.
And how far back does it go? I mean, I think my grandmother was in it for like many, many, many years.
Yes, well, I think garden clubs probably started in the 1800s as
Really?
an offshoot of all the agricultural activities going on in the country. But right here in Guilford, the Guilford Garden Club was started in 1939.
Oh, okay. All right. And let me see here. Let me check my notes regarding, now at the local level in Guilford, what is this garden club involved with? Or
What are we involved
Yes.
with? Well, we are very active in the town. We do a lot of things. I would say that half of our members are in it because they are interested in learning more about gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other women in the club who are more interested in flower arranging, and we have activities that will interest everyone, no matter what your specialty would be. We also lately have gotten more involved with things dealing with the environment. We do a lot for the town. In order to be able to do that, we are involved with fundraising. We have our main fundraising project in the year is our boutique, our holiday Christmas boutique that we do every year. That is held the first Friday immediately after Thanksgiving, and all week long the women make these absolutely gorgeous wreaths which we sell, and that money goes to many of the projects that we do in the town, such as we give scholarships. This year we're going to be giving 2 scholarships. Each one is worth $2,000, and they will go to 2 graduating seniors from Guilford High School who are going to go into careers with agriculture or
Very
the environment.
interesting.
Yeah, that's very good.
I want to back you up a little bit. You gave
Sure.
me a lot of information here. I want to get back. I had a question for
Yes.
you for my own information.
Uh-huh.
So people can learn how to garden at the garden club for people who would like to know but really don't know gardening that well?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I joined the garden club, because I was newly retired and I wanted to learn more about gardening. We have a general meeting the second Wednesday of every month. It's always in the newspaper with the topic, and we get speakers from all over, and they will talk about different aspects about gardening. We also have some members in the club who are master gardeners. Some members will do their own presentations. So yeah, you can learn a lot about gardening by coming to a garden club meeting, by being in the club.
The meetings run, excuse me, from September through June. July and August, there wouldn't be any activity.
And I'm sure you guys specialize in perennial gardening.
Yes, yes.
And talking about perennial designs and all of that is so interesting to me. It's an art.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Yeah, and I think the speakers that we get in, Suzanne has done presentations on how to do lovely container gardens.
That's a new thing with a lot of people not having so much space.
Exactly. And as people get a little older, they can't,
Oh, yes.
you can't,
yes.
you get a new
You
knee
can
and you can't
have
get
it
down.
raised up higher.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's probably, real tried and true techniques to having that type of a planting system.
Yep. And you can now add, some vegetables with perennials. That's kind of the latest thing,
Right.
an edible kind of arrangement. And you have a little
Very
parsley
interesting.
with, some other perennials. And so dual purpose, so.
And so, also, what about the flower arrangements you mentioned? Are those?
Yes, we have a member who is in charge of artistic, and she sets up the design schedule for each one of the meetings. And we usually have 2 or 3 members who will submit a design, and there's always a theme to it. Our general overall theme this year has been on food and cooking, so somehow or another the design has to go along with that. We also have 2 meetings a year where we get together with other garden clubs. In October, that's our joint meeting where we share the meeting with the Wreaths Island Garden Club, and there's always flower arranging there. And we just in April had our tri-meeting, which is the Guilford Garden Club, Wreaths Island, and the Garden Club of Madison. And that meeting always has a for real
And you
flower
actually
show.
arrange the flowers at the meeting?
No, that's done beforehand. That's done beforehand.
And you just bring pictures, you bring?
No, you bring, the members
actual
bring in the
arrangement, yeah.
arrangements.
Okay.
Yes.
And they just go out and pick their own flowers to make arrangements?
Well,
or, I mean,
they could end up buying them if, in the winter time if
Yeah.
they need
Oh,
a
okay.
specific flower.
Right.
But we should also mention that there are 2 garden clubs in Guilford, which is a little unusual for
Oh,
a small
really?
town to have 2, yes.
Tell me more about that.
Well, one is the Wreaths Island, and one
Okay.
is us, which is the Guilford Garden Club. And I really don't know the actual history as to how the 2 originated. I think Wreaths Island was one thing that I heard of was that they started because they were just the ladies that were here in the summer, and they wanted to be involved in
okay.
gardening and clubs. And that's how apparently it got going. But
So this is so interesting
Yeah.
to me because the garden club is much, much more than just gardening.
Oh, yes,
absolutely.
yeah, it's
And
a
you
social
have a number
thing.
of
Yeah.
events and
Yes.
programs you're involved with. Suzanne, you were the youth garden?
Yes.
Tell me about that. I
I'm
think
the-
that's great.
I'm the chairperson for the youth gardening program, and in like 2011, we got a call from the director of the Guilford Center for Children, and she said, "We're moving to a new location. Do you think you could create a garden for children?" So we built 3 raised beds, and 2 of the beds are vegetables and herbs, and then one of the beds is blueberries and strawberries. And this past year, we added a raised bed along the fence line so we can grow climbing vegetables and flowers. And it's really, I've never done it with children before, and it's so rewarding.
They love
Yeah.
when they start seeing little sprouts coming out. I know
Yeah.
from, a few things I planted with my kids, they were just, thought it was the coolest thing in the world, you know?
Yeah.
So the garden club we supply every spring.
Uh-huh.
We have 5 or so ladies, and we plan it out, and we buy the flowers.
With the children.
No, we do a lot of the planning.
Okay.
Of what's going to go with each raised bed. But we buy the organic fertilizer, we buy the plants and whatever's needed, and then the children come out and they plant everything. We basically just kind of point and say, you want to put this maybe here. They dig it, they put it in, they add a little fertilizer, and
So when
It's
is that
fun.
scheduled to happen this spring?
it's usually around Mother's Day.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've already passed
No,
children could still get
mid-May.
involved? Okay.
Mid-May, we go. We
Okay.
bring all our plants in, and then the children come up, the teachers bring them out a couple classes at a time. And whoever wants to participate, they do. And those that don't want to get their hands dirty, don't. And that's okay. And most of them want to plant more and more and
Oh,
more.
I'm sure.
So it's really
Oh, I'm sure.
very rewarding.
Now, are you involved with the school system? Are
No.
you talking about the classes, when you say classes? that
This
come-
is the daycare. It's called the Guilford Center for Children.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
a
Yeah, so
daycare.
it's
Mention that.
daycare. So
Okay.
I think the age is maybe 3 to 6,
Oh, so
something like
cute.
that. Great ages, and it's all organic. So we want to teach them where their food comes from.
That's right. Most
You know,
kids don't know where the
be
food comes
stewards
from.
of the earth.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a worm. We teach them to weed, to water. and they eat everything they
I was
grow.
just going to say
Yeah.
what
That's
to eat and
terrific.
what not
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
eat.
The
they have
vegetables.
I'm not quite sure what to call her. I'm going to call her a chef, but there's a couple chefs there, and we get together before we buy anything, and we ask, what would you like to grow? So they have a list. They like herbs and certain tomatoes. That's fine. We go buy those particular plants, and because they use everything, they cook it and they give it for snack, and then few years they've harvested so much they gave it to the food bank next door.
Oh.
So that was really.
And you received an award for it, didn't you?
We did.
Oh
I
my
have to look. In 2011, the project was recognized by the National Federation for an Outstanding Project in Horticulture.
Yes.
It's a mouthful.
Yes, and this year, you got a write-up in the Federated Garden Clubs of Connecticut, their newsletter.
Right.
Yes.
So who
Another
knew
notch
it
for
would?
Yeah,
food.
I
Mushrooms
know.
is such
you
a
know,
thing.
It's great.
We're really trying to, spread the word. If other towns could, start a project, because that is the age, the 3 years old and up. That's
To
the age to.
inspire.
Yes.
Yeah.
So could a child that wasn't associated with this nursery school or program be able to join in?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's
No.
probably just the
Um,
kids that go there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think several years ago, at the community garden next to the Medad Stone Tavern, they set up a little children's garden there. And I think the plan was that second graders from Cox School were supposed to walk over during the day and have a little lesson. I don't know if that program it didn't materialize.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that had been their plan.
But I know Federated is really inspired by this project, the Federated. And
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the write-up.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always a great thing for Guilford.
Yes, but I think what they liked about it was that they're trying to spread the word across Connecticut that, hey,
children
teach,
where the food
start something like this. And this is the age where kids really,
Yeah.
they learn to respect the earth. And, yeah, so.
And what other type of special programs are you involved with?
Well, we do a lot of things to maintain certain gardens in the town. For instance, the historical houses. We have a garden outside the Griswold House, which is done the way a garden would have been back in the day.
Very nice.
We also bring flowers to the Griswold House when it is open, when the museum is open. Same thing with the Highland House. Everybody knows there's a horse trough on the Guilford Green that's planted by the Guilford Garden Club. We do flowers at the town hall, the post office, the flower boxes,
Mary Schmidt's garden,
going up 70
the nut plains.
nut plains.
Hospice?
Yes.
Hospice?
I
And
was
we
just gonna
maintain
say-
those flower beds too. We go in and water them at the
Yeah.
town hall.
Yeah, and last year we got green aprons that all have, our Guilford Garden Club logo, and the thinking behind that was that when our members are out doing these things, that they can be recognized. So if somebody in the town sees a lady in the green apron, they'll know it's
Guilford Garden.
Guilford Garden
Oh,
Club.
that's a nice idea.
We do flowers for hospice, too, don't
Yes.
we?
Right.
Yes, and we have 11 of our members participate in hospice, and we meet twice a month. And we design flowers that we take into the patient's rooms. We either put them by their bedside or by the window area. We also decorate as you walk into the building.
In the public
On the left
areas.
by the fireplace, we make a big arrangements. We, in the viewing room, we put arrangements. We put them in the chapel. And we also put them at the front desk so they look nice. And the patients are so
That
happy.
is a lot. That's a
They-
big job.
They
You must
are-
stay really busy with that.
And we have 2 of our members, Barbara being one of them, have been doing this for over 20 years.
And all the flowers are donated,
They
which
were
is
done?
nice. So you get to work with flowers that you may never usually, come across, in your own home or something.
And
Are they donated locally, or are they?
they're all donated, yeah.
That's very
Yes.
Very
they're all
nice.
donated, yeah.
And so how many board members are there? Or, no, I'm sorry, not board members, members in general
We
in
have-
Guilford?
We have 94 members right now.
But they're not all active members.
Right.
We have active members, and we have some of the older ladies that are associates that, you know,
Yes.
there's,
And we have a few, I think they're called full-time employed.
which means they can't get to the meetings, but they still
Got it.
wanted to
Right.
be part of the garden club.
Is there requirements to be a member of the Guilford Garden Club? I mean, do you have to be a Guilford resident
Nope.
or just
No.
want to
Nope.
be associated with the?
Anyone can join.
Right, we have members from, several members from
Branford,
Madison.
Madison,
Right.
Branford.
Right.
Killingwood.
We had a new member this year who sent out an email to area garden clubs asking for information about the different clubs, and I guess she was garden club shopping, and she came to one of our meetings, so we were happy that she joined.
And then she volunteers at Hospice.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
And I know you mentioned that you'd love to have new members,
Yes?
Yes.
and you have a website.
Not a
Correct? What-
website.
How would they
Website.
contact you?
We have a Facebook page.
Oh, Facebook.
Yes, we had two of our newer members. One of them used to work for Dell, and the other one is a retired computer teacher. So this was fabulous. They set up a Facebook page for us, and they can message us on it. They can find out about meetings, etc.
And you basically meet once a month for the general meetings.
Yes, yes. And
September through June.
the first Wednesday we have a board meeting, and the board, there are five officers who are on the board: the president, the vice president, who's also in charge of program, the recording secretary, a corresponding secretary, and the treasurer. And then there are women who are in charge of different committees, and that meeting is held the first Wednesday of the month.
I know the last time I visited with Barbara, she had just won a really nice new plant for her new house.
That's right, yes. I didn't know I had a house at the time.
That's great. That's great.
So, but there are I think there's other events and programs that
Oh,
we
yes,
haven't mentioned
right,
yet. You
right,
had
right.
mentioned
Oh.
before we started filming about some banner that you had.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's just our Christmas boutique, an advertisement for our major fundraiser of the year, which takes place the first Friday in December. And we decided to purchase one of those banners that goes across Route 1 to get a little more publicity. People would come to the boutique and buy our natural wreaths and hopefully, enjoy it.
We've really tried in the last couple of years to have better publicity, to increase community awareness of what we do. And so, we thought about were we going to get a banner or not, because they're a little pricey, but we thought it would be a good thing to do, not only to advertise our boutique, but also to tell people that, it's the Guilford Garden Club that does the candlelight walk on Broad Street. I think a lot of people...
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's some other organization, but we're the ones that
That's
do it.
beautiful.
Yeah, so we did
And you
that.
decorate with wreaths.
Yes.
Every home on that street
Has a
has a free wreath.
Yes,
They're beautiful.
yes,
And
and all
then
the
the garland
roping and everything.
And the lighting.
All the wreaths on the front doors of the homes are done, because I've always admired them.
Yes.
How beautiful that home's wreath is. How beautiful it even,
Made by our
Yes.
members, we donate them to the home.
We
office.
donate.
Right.
those are beautiful.
That's our gift to the town.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, in line with publicity, we had a new person be in charge of publicity, and it was her idea to do the banner, and she coordinated all of this. And she thought that it might be fun for you to come down, if you could, during the week that we are making the wreaths, because we are there
Oh, I'd
for
love to.
4 days, and you
Absolutely.
get all the members there, and they're all making these wreaths, and each one is prettier than the next. And it'd be fun to film that, to film the ladies
That's a
making
great
them.
idea. I will take you guys up on that.
Great,
And
great.
why don't we talk about this? I just see this right here,
I would be thrilled
so.
to talk about this. We decided last year, because when we're having I'll just leave that right there. Is that good? When we're having our workshop for the boutique, one of the fun things of the week is that every day we have a lunch. Some members bring in lunch, and they're really good lunches. And we said, we should make a cookbook with our recipes. And so that's what we did. We made this cookbook. It's called What's Cooking. And we did this as a fundraiser for our educational program so we can have more educational programs. And it's kind of neat. All the recipes are from our members. And the cover, if you can see this, this is a beautiful cover that was done by Ellen Hoverkamp. She is a resident of West Haven, and she's a fantastic artist. She does scanner photography where she takes these flowers and she puts them down, and vegetables and whatever, and she scans them, and they're gorgeous. And what's really neat about this picture is called Food is Love. And all the things here were grown at Trout Lily Farm on Route 77 that Michael Russo and his partner own. And this little tomato in here is in the shape of a heart. So, food is love.
And this is a fundraiser for your scholarships
Well,
program.
Part of it, yes.
part of it, yes.
Now, speaking of that, how would one apply for a scholarship? Would they go through you, or how is that?
The high school determines.
The high school,
They choose
Right.
the recipient.
okay,
Right.
oh, okay.
Yes, the woman that's in charge, our member who is in charge of scholarships, contacts, I imagine it must be guidance, the guidance department at Guilford High School, and says, you know, usually we give one scholarship, but this year we're able to give two. It's always $2,000. And then they select the person or persons. We don't know who's winning yet, but that will be awarded at their scholarship night.
It has to be a student that's going into some kind of environmental or
Horticultural or something environmental that would be in keeping with our philosophy.
That's great. This has been so enjoyable for me to learn so much more
Good.
about the garden club, and I'm so glad for the Guilford community that doesn't know to learn more. Is there other events that you want to speak
Well,
about?
I think we'd like to talk about the trees.
Oh, yes,
Right,
yes.
We have a wonderful tree fund that one of our members started. She had this idea, where she was reading about how things are getting so bad with the environment and the air quality, and just reading about the benefit of trees, just putting in new trees, because they improve your air quality, they absorb carbon monoxide, they harbor food for birds and animals.
Did you say tree farm?
Tree fund.
Oh, tree fund.
Tree
Okay.
fund, yes. And so she was thinking about this, and Lillian Comstock is her name. She was not able to be here today, but she brought it to the board, and she said, how about starting a tree fund? And we talked to the town of Guilford, and they were very happy to hear about it. And what we do is the garden club itself will donate 4 trees every year to this fund. And then we work with the local tree warden for the town of Guilford, and he determines where the trees will be planted and what type of tree. And it's all on Guilford town property. And we also solicit funds from the general public. Anybody can donate to this. It costs us $400 to put in 1 tree, but that covers the cost of planting the tree. It covers the cost of watering the tree for 1 year after that, which is really good. And anyone can contact us and make a donation. You don't have to buy a tree. You don't have to spend $400. You can spend $20. You can spend anything you want. But it goes into that fund. And that's maintaining the trees in the town of Guilford. Also along the same line, after the hurricane that we had so much damage to the town green, we were approached to help handle the funds that were asked for from the public to try to replace a lot of the trees that were damaged on the green. And we did help with that, and most of the trees have been replaced that needed to be at that time. And then the other thing that we did recently was for the 375th anniversary of Guilford. A few years before, there was a piece of property that the town had acquired called Rollwood. And this used to be the former residence of one of the Connecticut governors back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And unfortunately, the house was acquired over the years by different people, and what happened was there was a tragic fire, and most of the house was destroyed. And the only thing that was left there was the brick fireplace and the surrounding foundations. And so we were just looking at this open space that's sort of in the middle of town, and the idea came that maybe this would be a great place for a pocket park. And that's what we undertook. And so we used some of our funds for that, and trees have been planted. We had a local
This was just recently too,
Yep.
within
Yes.
the last few
Yep.
years, because
Yep.
I know the location that
Yep.
you're talking about only
Yep.
because I remember it
Yes.
burned down and there
Yeah.
was just a fireplace for some time.
Yeah, so we put in the trees.
And daffodils.
We
We
had
have
plants.
benches.
We
It's right
planted
across from the
daffodils.
Whitfield Museum.
Yes.
Right, it's right
We
across the
donated a
street from the
bench.
Whitfield
And we
Museum.
have
I think two
benches.
benches.
Two benches.
We have two
We
benches.
have two benches. We have
Big
a
sign.
a lunch table that we put in that people can sit there and have a picnic. And it was dedicated last year with all of the 375th anniversary.
Which coincided with our 75th anniversary,
At the
so
same
it was
time, yeah.
it was a very wonderful event.
And as far as trees, so far we've planted 62 trees in the town of Guilford. And that does not count the park.
Didn't we do something off North Plains Road with chestnut trees? No.
No,
No?
I think there was a talk of doing that, but
Okay.
I think someone else
Oh,
ended up
okay.
doing
Have any of you driven by the Guilford High School recently? They, they're finishing off the parking lot, but they
Uh-huh.
just planted probably, how many, 30, 60 redbud
Oh.
trees?
Oh, did they?
Gorgeous.
There were
It's gonna
hundreds
be-
of bald trees, just
Really?
leaning, yeah.
that's
and
So
wonderful.
they've planted them all around now, so
yes.
it's really gonna be pretty. I can't believe that there are so many redbud trees. It's just a garden, and it's beautiful, so.
That's lovely.
That makes all the difference, you know,
Sure.
plantings,
Landsca-
landscaping,
Yes,
Mhm.
makes a big difference.
and we had a local landscaper for the park that donated his services, which was very nice, and gave us a plan to work with.
And there's going to be a sign, we're going to put a sign up
Yes.
coming up.
We're showing the history of the park
Showing the whole
itself.
history, so
and the
it'll be
house.
nice.
Because everyone that drives by, they always look at it and they say, what is
I
this?
know. And I think there was at least one wedding there.
Yes, so far. It'll be
You
a
know, it'd be a
great
lovely
place
spot for an outdoor
wedding.
wedding.
Yeah.
And I think there's some plans about it, as you're looking at the, what used to be the fireplace on the left, maybe leveling out that ground a little bit so they could put a tent for a wedding
Wedding,
or some
yeah.
big event.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of stuff.
It's actually.
You really do.
yeah,
I think this is something I would be interested in getting involved with,
Great.
Oh, great. We'd
very
love to
much
have you.
so. Thank you, very much so.
And even if, it's open to all the community, so they can come to a meeting. We always advertise in the newspaper.
Yes.
So
Meetings are
anyone from
free,
Guilford
yes.
can
Right.
attend the meeting if it's something that interests them, and they don't want to join, or they can't join, or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you
They're
have
always
a
welcome.
certain location you always meet at, or do you
community
rotate?
center.
The community
community
center,
center.
always almost always in the community center, yes. Yeah, and-
11:30, right, 11:30?
Yeah, 11:30,
lunch,
we have a
very
little
nice
lunch
lunch.
at 12, yeah, very lovely lunch, and then a business meeting at 12:30, and then 1 o'clock,
Is
we
the program.
have the speaker, the
For an
program.
hour or so.
Yeah. And sometimes they are local people. I think our first meeting in September, we had, and I don't remember her name, but the lady that owns White House Flowers.
Flowers, yes.
Oh,
She
and she
came
was
and she did a
wonderful.
beautiful presentation on how to make flower arrangements. It was just lovely.
Well, there's a lot to be learned on how to make a perennial garden nice. It's a lot more difficult than you would think.
Yes.
To have them really bloom and be pretty and,
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have
look
that
uniformed
eye.
and just, there's a lot to it. And so to have an organization that you can,
Yeah.
go to and learn, or just
Right.
probably pull any of the
Right.
people aside that have been in for a while, are
Uh-huh.
sure they're great
It's
gardeners.
a
and-
social thing, too.
And,
Yes.
and you don't need an invitation. I
Right.
know historically some garden clubs, in order to belong to them, you needed to be invited by somebody. I don't,
We don't do that.
we don't do that. We're very open, we're very friendly.
So let's just reiterate, the meetings are on first Wednesday of every month.
Second
First-
Wednesday.
Second
Second Wednesday of every
Wednesday.
month.
Second
At the
Wednesday.
community center,
September through June.
September through June, 11 o'clock start time?
11:30.
11:30. And
11:30.
anyone's welcome to
Yes.
come without, they don't need a reservation.
Right,
they don't
no,
need- and
just come.
introduce.
No
That's
money,
wonderful.
And we have a membership chair, and it generally, if somebody were to come, generally the membership chair will notice, oh, this is somebody, that we don't know, and she'll go over and introduce herself and make the person feel welcome. And
So you're not left, by yourself.
Right.
Right.
Feeling
Right.
uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
And any other questions that someone may have for you, they could contact you through Facebook.
Facebook, yes. If they would like to buy a cookbook, they
How
can
how much are they? Can
They
I
are
ask?
$20. They are wonderful. Also, they are for sale at Bishop's
Okay.
on the courtesy desk there.
Okay. Very good. Well, listen, I really appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you
It
for
was
having
fun.
us.
very
Thank you
fun to
very
learn.
much.
It was
all
fun.
Thank
of
you
this
for
about-
inviting us.
Yes,
My
yes.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
See you at Christmas.
Yes.
See you
I
at
should
Christmas,
take you
yeah.
up on
Please
that.
come. You
Okay.
would enjoy that a
you'll-
lot.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And for the viewers, thank you for joining us, and you have a great Guilford day. Bye-bye.